Welcome to Workday Benefits Coordination of Events. In this session, we'll explore how to process coordination of events in Workday. Coordination of events is the management of multiple events entered into Workday for the same employee. For example, suppose that an employee enters an event into Workday on May 16th for the birth of their new child. This opens a benefit event that allows the employee to enroll the new dependent into healthcare coverage. Then, perhaps an HR administrator enters a second event to process a job change for the same employee, but backdates the event to May 1st. This job change event may also open a benefit event allowing the employee to make election changes to their healthcare coverage. That employee now has two events processing in the system. Workday processes the events in chronological order, so that the employee enrolls in benefits in the order they incur based on the event date. When coordinating multiple events, there are a few important things to consider. First, when there are two or more benefit events in the system, all benefit events will process in order of event date. If more than one event is open simultaneously, but they have different event dates, the earliest entered event processes first. All the following events are temporarily put on hold. However, the events are only on hold if there are overlapping coverage types, for example, if they both share medical or dental coverage. Once the first event is finalized, the system will cancel the on-hold event and create it again. This ensures that Workday recognizes the benefit elections from the previous event as current elections for the new event, so that details populate correctly. Two events with no overlapping or common coverage types can open simultaneously and can be complete in any order. Your events may also use extended enrollment dates, which will reprocess an event type. If two or more benefit events for the same employee have the same event date, the processing behavior is different. In this case, Workday creates a hybrid event. This hybrid event uses a higher priority processing rule. Let's examine how two events that occur on the same day process as a hybrid event. In this example, a job change event initiates a benefit event. An employee gets a promotion from part-time to full-time employment. On the same day, the employee initiates a dependent change transaction because they just had a child. Both events route a task to the employee, allowing them to make their election changes. The employee doesn't receive two separate tasks. Instead, these two events become a hybrid event and combined into a single task. This one event includes all of the coverage types that the benefit administrator configures to open for both event types. So how does Workday prioritize what processing rules and routing to apply if the benefit events and a hybrid event conflict? First, each benefit event controls routing. Your administrators determine who receives the task to make changes when the benefit event triggers. The task would route either to the employee or to the benefits partner. For example, if the first event I submit is a dependent change and it's set up to route to an employee's My Tasks section, but the second event is an administrative correction that's set to route to a benefits partner's My Tasks section, then Workday will always route that hybrid event to the benefit partner's My Tasks section because that routing takes priority. Second, the configurations on the enrollment event rules control what happens during the event. These rules also have a prioritization. Let's assume the task routes to an employee. Once the task displays in the employee's My Tasks section, they can select the benefits they want to start or waive coverage for. Alternatively, if the changes cause the employee to become ineligible for benefit coverage, the benefits won't display in their My Tasks section, and they won't be able to select or waive them. Keep in mind that how your benefits administrators configure the EOI levels of change tabs influences processing priority. Additionally, the following configurations impact the priority of how hybrid events process: allowed coverage, coverage targets, and default processing. To demonstrate how Workday prioritizes allowed processing changes, let's explore an example. Suppose that we have two events that both occur on the same day, so Workday creates a hybrid event. If one event contains the rule that specifies no changes allowed, and the second event's rule allows me to select any plan, Workday will apply the Can Select Any Plan rule because it has level 1 priority. The most permissive rules have the first priority. If the second event allows for current plan or option to increase, this event's rule takes priority over no changes allowed. This prioritization isn't configurable, so your benefits administrators must think critically about how two events combine and process as a hybrid using these prioritizations. Consider another example. I have one event that allows me to add additional dependents, and a second event that only allows me to continue with current dependents. Workday applies rule priorities to process the event. As a result, the hybrid event will allow me to add additional dependents because that rule takes priority. When two events occur on the same day, such as a job change and an employee adding pet insurance, the system also determines what coverage types open for benefit elections. The job status change event typically allows for medical, dental, vision, long-term disability, supplemental life, and accidental death and dismemberment, or AD&D insurance coverage elections. Initiating an event by adding pet insurance only opens the pet insurance coverage type. As a result, Workday doesn't create a hybrid since both events include different coverage types. Because neither event has an impact on each other, there's no conflict in both events processing at the same time. These events remain separate and processed in the order that they're entered into Workday. In this session, we've reviewed coordination of events. We discussed examples of processing multiple events, hybrid events, processing priorities, and processing separate events. Thank you for taking the time to learn with Workday.